Hello, I'm Dr. Stephen Graham, the back pain professor and author of Don't Get the Screws Put to You. This handbook teaches you how to achieve a healthy back so that you never face back surgery. Some of my topics include core strengthening, the best postures at work, and the best mattresses for your lower back. Don't Get the Screws Put to You can be purchased at GrahamChiropracticLouisville.com, or you can just stop by my office and get a signed copy.
I used to be in such chronic pain. I saw a commercial, Dr. Graham. He unpinched my nerve. I don't have to take all those pills anymore. I'm pain-free, and I'm back to doing my arts and crafts.
After 27 years of practice and over 12,000 low back cases, I've come to the conclusion that the number one reason that people have chronic low back pain is the disc. Now, I want to show you some different MRIs on what makes a good disc good or bad. So we're going to look at this one first, and you can see the disc here. They're white. There's another one here, 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 and here, and here. And they're all white. What that means is the disc has a lot of hydration, and that's what makes it healthy, is a good hydrated disc. Now, if we look at the disc, looking down at it, you'll see there's a jelly material, and this is really important, but generally on a hydrated disc, a healthy disc, the jelly material is in the middle. In other words, you don't want that slipping out the back. Now let's look at a MRI that shows some unhealthy discs, some dehydrated discs. You can see this top one's black, this one's turning black. You can see a little white in there. That one's completely black, that's completely black. This one's got a little bit of hydration in it, but it's losing it. And the very bottom, the L5S1, is totally black, which means it's pretty much out of water, it's dehydrated. And what happens is, when you get a dehydrated disc, they're going to break down, and the jelly material is going to start to ooze out the back. And this is a bulge here, and you can see that's pushing right into the nerve. And then if the crack in the disc continues because it keeps getting drier and drier, the jelly material actually will come out of the disc, and that's referred to as a herniation. And while all this is going on, it's not uncommon for the disc just to collapse because it's so weak, the weight of the body just collapses the thing. And all these things, the bulge, the herniation, the collapse, can lead to a pinched nerve. And we know that pinched nerves cause back pain, gluteal pain, and leg pain. Now, how do we keep a disc from dehydrating so that you would never need surgery? This seems to be the big question. This is probably the most important question we're going to pose here, and this is why I wrote a book, is to how to keep a disc healthy, how to keep it white on an MRI and not black. So this book, I put down the 8 different ways that you can have a good disc go bad, and 2 of them are chemical reasons and 6 are mechanical. This book, the foreword was written by David Weber. He's an MD. He's an interventional pain specialist. He's board certified in anesthesia and pain management, and he got his fellowship from Massachusetts General Harvard Medical School. The book took me 2.5 years to write. That means a lot of thought went into it. I have over 80 illustrations, 60 x-rays and MRIs, and over 100 photos. And that's what makes this more of a reference book, a handbook. But the illustrations, the x-rays, and the photos, I did that. I put those in there to make this very easy to understand. So this would be a good book to have at your house, to have on a coffee table, or to take to work, or to give to your kids, because this book will hopefully prevent anybody from ever having to face the knife. Hello, I'm Dr. Graham, the back pain professor, and today we're with Danielle. And Danielle, could you tell your story?
So I came to Dr. Graham with back pain. He unpinched my nerves. Now I'm pain-free, and I'm back to running marathons again.
I'm Dr. Graham, the back pain professor. So let's take a time out and take a look at a fusion surgery case. This man had what's called a single level fusion, so he did have the screws put to him, and you can see they're right there, and it covers, the reason it's a single level is this is the level that they were after. So what they did is they cut away some bone, they put a disc in here. It looks like they probably took some bone out of his hip to make a space there to create a larger opening for the nerve. These kind of surgeries, they cost somewhere between $90,000 and $150,000, and typically you're off work 3 to 6 months. So would it be wise to read a book or two to learn how to take care of your disc, to learn how to keep it hydrated so that you don't have to spend an enormous amount of money, and worse yet, be off work 3 to 6 months?
I used to be in such chronic pain. I saw a commercial, Dr. Graham. He unpinched my nerve. I don't have to take all those pills anymore. I'm pain-free, and I'm back to doing my arts and crafts.
There are two chemical breakdowns of the disc, one being H2O, hydration. The disc actually is made up of about 80% water. Now, you would think with some people's diet that the disc is made up of 80% Mountain Dew or Coke or coffee. So what this means is we're going to have to make some changes. If you're a heavy caffeine drinker, you're going to have to make some changes and start drinking more water, because the problem is when you drink a lot of caffeine, you'll actually lose water content. Now, to make matters worse, the disc is one of the very last things to get water. So if you're drinking, let's say you drink, some Cokes and some coffee, and you sparingly drink water throughout the day, the brain, the lungs, and the cardiovascular system are going to grab all the water that you drank, and the disc is probably not going to get any of it, because that's last in line to get it. The body wants to keep us alive. That's why the lungs need to work, the brain needs to work, the cardiovascular system needs to work. The disc, in the end, isn't as important in keeping you alive. It's just, if you got a bad disc, it just hurts a lot. So there's a formula that I learned a long time ago in chiropractor school, and that is if someone says, well, how much water do I need to drink? Because everybody's different sizes and shapes. So what you do is you take your body weight and you divide it into 2, and that's the number of ounces of water that you should take in a day. I'll give you an example. I weigh 180 pounds. So that means if I divide that into 2, that's 90 ounces of water. So for me to get all the water I need to hydrate my disc, I need to be drinking at least 90 ounces of water. So what I do in the morning, I probably have about 20 ounces before I go to work, and then during work I just go over the filtered water machine, drink some more water, and I just do that throughout the day, and I know I get at least 90 a day. Now if I'm going to exercise, run, do things like that, you need to take a little bit more in, because you're going to sweat the rest of it out. Hello, I'm Dr. Graham, the back pain professor, and today we're with Danielle. And Danielle, could you tell your story?
So I came to Dr. Graham with back pain. He unpinched my nerves. Now I'm pain-free, and I'm back to running marathons again.
I'm Dr. Graham, the back pain professor. Okay, the next case we have here is a 2-level fusion of the lower back. And you can see that on these, instead of having 4 screws, they have 6 screws, because they got to cover the L4, L5 level and the L5, S1 level. This young man had surgery 6 years ago, and he's on 6 Aleve a day. And what that means is the surgery didn't work out too good for him. He's come in my office, and he's taking 6 Aleve a day, which means now he's putting his intestines in danger, because Aleve causes bleeding stomach ulcers. And that's a whole nother problem.
I used to be in such chronic pain. I saw a commercial, Dr. Graham. He unpinched my nerve. I don't have to take all those pills anymore. I'm pain-free, and I'm back to doing my arts and crafts.
The next topic we're going to discuss is the core. And the core is very, very important because the core, a good core, will keep many people from ever having to face having the screws put to them. So we're going to talk about that now. Before we do, I want to go over this spine here. So the core, what it does, it keeps the spine in good alignment from the front, the muscles do, and then good alignment into the side. So let's talk about the 5 muscle groups that help keep that alignment going. So let's talk about the first one is the front and side of the core. It's the oblique muscles, they're the ones on the side. And of course the rectus muscles, they're the ones that create the six-pack look. Both of these are equally important. It seems that most people always want to try to work on the fronts and they neglect the sides. And they're both equally as important. Let's look at the back. There's 3 of those, the erector spinae, that goes up and down the spine. That helps keeps the spine straight. The quadratus lumborum muscle, that hooks onto the top of the low back and down to the pelvis. And then of course the gluteus maximus muscles, and what those are the gluteal muscles, and they actually help keep the whole spine in good alignment from the front and the side. Now, let's take a look at what this should look like. You got the spine from the side. It should be a nice 45-degree angle, and a strong core is going to increase the chances of this nice side view 45-degree look, because this is the strongest position that the spine should be in that will keep people from having to have back surgery. Now, sometimes people pick up a pound or 2, usually from diet, not taking care of themselves. And what happens is when we pick weight up, the spine actually will, instead of looking like this, here's the front, it will do this deal. So it will actually, the angle will actually get way over 45 degrees, and you'll see on here what that's going to look like. Put this back on there. Let's take a look at that. And there's a spine with way too much angulation. It's going this way too much. And right there at the bottom is where all the pressure is going to be on that nerve. And you can see the actual, from that, the disc is starting to dehydrate, and this has already developed a bulge. And that's on someone that does not have a good core. Now, let's talk about how to create a good core. There's a few exercises that I like, and the main thing with doing core exercises is not to get hurt. And I like this one right here because this is really simple, yet it is very effective. So what you do is you just do like a push-up, but your knees are going to be on the mat, and you're just going to hold that spot. Some people rest on their elbows, or you can just lock your arms out and you can hold that. Don't worry about if you can hold it only 5 seconds or 20 seconds. Just do that a few times, and pretty soon after a few weeks of that, you'll probably be up to a minute. But you'll feel all those core muscles working, and they'll get a nice workout. Another, this next one's the one I like the most. These are one-arm dumbbell exercises. So you could literally take a dumbbell and just do one-arm exercises. And what that's going to do is that's going to, when you say you're lifting 20 pounds on this side, you're going to want to go this way, but your core muscles are going to bring you back level, and they're going to contract them, and that's how you keep the core muscles pretty fit, is the opposite sides doing all the work. So you can do curls. I like to do presses, and I like to do these French curls like this. And so there's 3 of them right there, and you'll actually feel it, like I said, on the opposite side. So do one on the right, then turn around, do the one on the left, and do that with each exercise. You could probably spend 5 minutes a day doing that and get your core in pretty good shape. Now, another thing I like is, this is an app, and it's called Body Weight Training. The advantage of that is you can go pretty much anywhere and do this. You don't need to have a gym. You don't need to have weights around. This app has 50, 60 different exercises. And what I really like about it, let's say you haven't done this very often, or you don't really work out much. Well, you'll want to check on the novice box at the top, and they'll give you some easier things you can do where you're not going to get hurt. The other thing I like, I might even like this better. Let's say you want to do a novice exercise, but you're short on time or you don't want to spend too much time on it. There's a 2-minute exercise program. So it's going to be real easy exercises that last 2 minutes. And as you get better, you can just, click on the 6-minute one or click on the intermediate level workout. And pretty soon you've got a nice core. Probably in the next 90 days, you'll see a big difference. Hello, I'm Dr. Graham, the back pain professor, and today we're with Danielle. And Danielle, could you tell your story?
So I came to Dr. Graham with back pain. He unpinched my nerves. Now I'm pain-free and I'm back to running marathons again.
I'm Dr. Graham, the back pain professor. The time has now come to look at another multi-level fusion case. This lady came in, 18 screws in her back. She was on hydrocodone, gabapentin, cyclobenzaprine, and the biggest shocker of all in my 20-some-odd years of work, she had 18 screws. That's 8 levels of fusion going on, and she was very stiff, couldn't get around, and she just wanted to be able to go to the boat across the river and be able to get around and have a fun day. And this is what she came in wanting to do. And very nice lady. I just felt bad for her because her spine is like permanently messed up, jacked up, and she'll never have that back.
I used to be in such chronic pain. I saw a commercial, Dr. Graham. He unpinched my nerve. I don't have to take all those pills anymore. I'm pain-free, and I'm back to doing my arts and crafts.
Our next topic is mattresses. Mattresses are very important because a third of our life or so, we're laying down, we're sleeping at night, and it's real important that we find a nice, supportive bed that's going to keep our spine in good alignment. So I'm going to run through, we're going to play Goldilocks for a minute, and this is a mattress that's too firm. And you can see the reason is the pelvis does not sink, the shoulders are hidden, and the spine is out of alignment. Now, this is not as common as the mattresses that are too soft, and sometimes it's because the mattress is old and it broke down, and you can see the pelvis goes down too far, and so it creates an out of alignment look such as that. So that's a too soft mattress. This is just right. This mattress, you can see the pelvis pushes the part of the mattress down as the shoulders, but the mattress is made so that spine stays in good alignment. So this is the right kind of mattress right there. Now, the worst mattress out there is the box spring and mattress. In fact, that should have gone out with the 8-track tapes, the Pinos, and the bell-bottom jeans back in the 70s. And the reason that these spring mattresses are not good is because when you lay on them a while, they'll start to sag. You'll get what's called mattress sag. So what you're supposed to do is rotate them every 6 months, but who on the universe rotates their mattresses every 6 months? Maybe 1 or 2 people, maybe like my wife, but that's about it. Now we're going to talk about the top 3 mattresses. Now this is my opinion. You can go to Consumer Reports and all that. This is based on my experience sleeping on mattresses my whole life and using some different ones. I've slept on different ones, I've bought different ones. So I've got my top 3 mattresses that I like. The first one, number 3, is a Sleep Number mattress. I purchased one in 1997. I was over at the mall and I was laying on this thing and I had the remote and I'm playing around with it. And I felt sorry because I think I was on there way too long. I ended up buying one from the guy. And what I liked about it though is it has air chamber technology. So it's not springs and that kind of thing. And so you blow it up and you blow it up to a level that's comfortable for you to sleep on. The ones they make today, now that was 1997. Now we fast forward to 2019. They're now made, they're smart beds with Sleep IQ technology, and what that does is it tracks your sleeping patterns. So they've advanced these beds a lot, But some of the benefits that I liked, and even that I had in 1997, was it didn't have springs, so it won't lose elasticity. You just blow it up and it stays there. In fact, in 1997, when I first got it, I blew it up to 75 pounds and it stayed on there for 20 years. I never messed with it. The other thing is, you and your spouse can each set your own comfort level, so they have one setting on one side and one on the other. And that works out good because, like, my wife would probably want something less than 75 pounds, but that's what works for me. So you got your own remote and everything else, and everybody's happy. These beds, as of the last brochure I had, can range anywhere from $2,300 all the way up to $10,000. So they're not a cheap mattress, but they're a good mattress. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is the Sealy Posturepedic. Now, the way I learned about that is I went on a vacation down to Sea Island, Georgia. A friend of mine has a home down there. And we went golfing and that kind of thing, came back, ate some nice seafood. Well, when the night was over, he showed me where my room was. I went up there and I had the best night of sleep of my entire life. So being the good chiropractor I was, when I woke up the next morning, I got down on my hands and knees and pulled the sheets back and found out what kind of mattress it was. And by golly, it was a Sealy Posturepedic. And the way these work, these are called hybrid mattresses, and they're made of coils instead of springs, but there's a bunch of coils in there, and there's memory foam on the top. And you can see I even took a picture of what it would look like, or what it does look like. These coils in the middle support your pelvis because they're stronger coils, because the pelvis is a big bone and you don't want that pelvis going down too far. So they've kind of figured everything out, how you won't sink in the bed. The high coil count is good for, like I said, for the weight distribution, the support. It's a transition mattress, which means some people coming off spring mattresses, they might want some coils. They may not want to jump into a memory foam type mattress because they never slept on one before. And the other thing about it doesn't shift around because it's got all these coils in there, so if your wife or husband gets up, they won't wake you up. Now, these range between $790 and $3,000. Number 1 mattress. There's Michael Jordan, and then there's everybody else. That's my opinion, and that's how I feel about this mattress. 2 years ago, my wife and I were going to get a new mattress, and we laid on a bunch of them, and I'd say probably a good 50. And I was really had my mind on that Sealy Posturepedic because of the experience I had. But when I laid on this Tempur-Pedic mattress at the store, it was like, that's it. That's the mattress. My wife laid on it. She loved it. And this is the one we got. This is a medium firm mattress, which I think is the best mattress to have. If you're going to get a mattress, I'd start looking at medium firms first. But some of the benefits of the Tempur-Pedic is the foam is a denser foam than a lot of these memory foam ones, which actually gives it a more relaxing feel. I got a 12-inch mattress. Now, I weigh under 250, but I went ahead and got the larger mattress. Now, if you're 250 pounds or more, you definitely need to get a 12-inch mattress, but I got one anyway because I thought it was a little more comfortable in the store. And then the other thing is it's a motion transfer reduction. So I've got up many times in the middle of the night to go get a glass of water or whatever, and my wife is laying there. She doesn't budge. She doesn't even know I got up. And same with her. She's been up, and I didn't know she had up. So it's got good motion transfer reduction. But the biggest thing is the Tempur material has the ability to self-adjust to your body's shape and weight and temperature. And this is the reason that your spine is kept in alignment all night. And for that reason, this is my number 1 mattress. Now, this mattress ranges between $1,300 and $10,000 plus. So they're not a cheap mattress, but if you divide it out, they're going to last longer. If you divide it all out, it's probably not going to be much more expensive than the hybrid. Okay, our next topic we're going to discuss, so that you don't have to get the screws put to you, is the arches of your feet. So we're going to, you know, when I went up to school in St. Louis, I kept seeing the arch downtown. I finally went up there, and what I found out after I watched the video of how they put it together, that the most important piece is right here. It's the last piece they put in, is the keystone. And what these arches, the arch is one piece here and one piece here, and they dropped that center piece up there, and the whole thing came together and made it stronger than it would have been otherwise. And this, so if you're ever wondering how does our arch, or how does our foot support our entire body weight, it's because it has a nice arch to it. This is what allows 200 pounds or 400 pounds to actually come down and be supported on our feet, is when you have a good arch. And that talus bone is the keystone. Here's an example. You can see this fellow has a nice arch in his foot, and same on the other side. So this is this would be considered the optimal arch that anybody should have to support their body on. Now, if we took a scan of this, a computerized scan, on a good arch, you'll see that the contact points is going to be the toes, the balls of the foot, and the heel. You're not going to see much contact in between there, and this is considered the optimal arch. This also, when I get a scan like this, it helps me to determine how much of the back problem that comes in the door is related to the arch of the feet. But when I see this, I'm like, that's not coming from the arches. That's not why they're having back pain. Now, and the reason that is because when you have good arches, everything's lined up nicely, the knees are lined up, the pelvis is lined up, and that helps the spine be nice and erect. So that's what good arches do for you. Now let's take a look at an arch that's collapsed, and you'll see the difference. This is a foot where all three arches, there's three arches in the feet, and you can see the whole, pretty much the whole foot's coming in contact with the ground. And that can cause, you know, foot pain, knee pain, hip pain, back pain, and even neck pain when you get these kind of arches coming in the door. Because it throws, what it does, it throws your whole body off kilter. So the arch drops, the knee rotates, the pelvis tilts, there's your back problem, and there's your neck problem. And you can see what that foot would look something like that. That's a flat foot there, collapsed arch. Here's the thing. When people come in my office with back pain, usually I'm the last one they come to. And I have found that if you don't check this, the feet, if you don't check the arches, you may miss the whole reason someone's having back pain. I've had people that have had surgery, and it turns out when I checked them, they had a fallen arch, and we fixed the arch, and their pain went away. So they had a surgery that probably turned out not to be necessary if someone had actually checked the arches. The other problem it can cause is it can, you know, like I said, the knee rotates when you have a collapsed arch, and it puts stress on the knees. And you can see this knee right there is grinded down. This one looks fine, but the one with the bad arch, he's lost the inside of his knee. And those people, a lot of times, if it gets bad enough, they get a knee replacement. And this is what it looks like. You may have seen people. This guy had a double knee replacement. This was actually a husband of a patient of mine. This is a $50,000 surgery, and that's for one side. It's a lot of rehab, missed work. These things typically last about 18 years. So that means when this guy hits 72, he may need to have another one. Now, so how do we avoid the titanium, whether it's in the knees or in the back? And one way is to just get your arches measured, make sure you have good solid arches so your body is nice and lined up. And there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can do a self-check. And we've all done this. We've walked out on a deck or concrete with our feet wet, and you can actually see the imprint. You can see this person on their right arch has a little more contact than the left arch, so their arches aren't the same. This one's probably more collapsed than that one is. The other thing you can do, just turn your shoes over and look at the wear pattern. See if you've worn out, if one side's worn out before the other. That's another indicator you might have a collapsing arch. But the best way to do it is to have a scan done, computerized scan, and this is what we have in our office. And what you do is you just stand on this thing, and it collects the information at the bottom on your feet. You hit a few buttons in here to send it to the proper email, and you'll get a printout, and we'll get a printout, and we'll show you what each arch looks like. And the cool thing is this, and the important thing is that it will tell you even which arch is higher than the other one. This one's off, but you can see the difference there of the arch on the right one. This is the right, is actually a little bit higher than this arch. So the problem is, it's not really a problem, but if you don't have custom arches, if you just go get some off the counter at Walmart or something, those are better than nothing. But the best ones are going to be the custom ones, because they're going to take a measurement of, you're going to have the exact measurement for each arch. It's kind of like your eyes. One eye might be weaker than the other, so you don't have the same prescription in both your the lenses and your glasses. And this is the same thing. But once these arches are in, then all of a sudden your feet are in a good alignment, your knees are in better alignment, and your pelvis is in better alignment, and it's taking stress off your body so that your body can start to heal. So there's a couple questions that you probably need to ask yourself. Do I want to take a risk of having a $50,000 knee surgery, being out with rehab and missed work, and only to have maybe another one 18 years later? Or would it make more sense to get a scan of your foot, make sure your arches are good, and if they're not, if one of them's collapsed or both of them are collapsed, to go ahead and invest in some custom orthotics to bring the arch back where it should. The second question is, do I want to take the chance on having a future lumbar low back fusion surgery because I have a collapsed arch? So it would make more sense maybe to go ahead and get your arches checked so you don't have a collapsed arch. And the way you just prevent that is to put some orthotics in your shoes. And that, to me, sounds like a smarter way to go than to risk ever having to have a lumbar fusion surgery. In my book, Don't Get the Screws Put to You, I outline 6 different mechanical ways that the disc breaks down. One of these is posture. So we're going to look at a pretty typical working posture, which is sitting. Most people that do any type of administrative work, or maybe accountants and lawyers, they're going to sit a good majority of the day. I would say a good average of people that have those kinds of jobs is probably sitting 6 to 8 hours a day, which is a lot of sitting. In fact, there's a case there that shows that 54% of the people that experience pain every day, most of them are sitting. They have sitting jobs. So it's not, I thought it'd be people that work at Ford or, UPS or companies where you're doing a lot of bending, lifting, and twisting, but in fact, it wasn't. It was from people that sit all day. And here's the reason why. 308 pounds of force is coming on the disc when you sit, versus when you stand, only 220 pounds. That's a difference of almost 90 pounds from someone that sits versus someone that stands. And here's why that is. This is an x-ray I took of a person in the seated position, and you can see it's kind of flat. This is a side view. And when you sit with this type of alignment, all the forces, pretty much all of them, are coming right down on the disc. And if we look at a standing position, the same person, now when they stand up, you can see how that flat goes away. Now it's more of an arc shape. And the importance of that is when it's an arc shape, the force actually goes through the back of the spine and it takes it off the disc. At least a good portion off the disc, that is. And so that's why I'm very high on these stand-up desks, because what they're going to do is they're going to shift the forces from the disc to the back of the spine. And in doing that, that will create an environment where the disc isn't breaking down as fast. Our last topic is going to be aligning and decompressing the spine. I want to tell you a story. About 3 years ago, a 49-year-old male came to my office and he said he's been having back pain, butt and leg pain for the last 6 or 7 years, and he's done everything for it. He's been on medicine, he's taken shots, he's done physical therapy, and he just can't shake this thing. In fact, now it's getting worse. So he came in the office and he struck me. I mean, he almost looked like a competitive tennis player. So I went through my checkpoints with, I asked him about hydration. That checked off okay. I checked his arches. Those look good. Obviously, if he looked like a competitive tennis player, he had a good core. He told me that he pays especially close attention to his posture. And he said just a few years ago he even bought a Tempur-Pedic mattress, which I think is the best mattress out there, and nothing has worked. So when I took an x-ray of his spine, there it is. He's out of alignment. He had a bad disc in his lower back. He's out of alignment, and it's pressing on the nerve, the sciatic nerve that runs down his leg. And that's what had happened. So that accounted for his back pain, his gluteal pain, and his leg pain. So what we did is I did an adjustment, and what the adjustment does is it aligns, it decompresses, and it rehydrates the discs, ultimately taking pressure off the sciatic nerve, creating space, if you will. Now, when this happens, people start enjoying their life again. This guy's out playing tennis again. He plays competitive tennis, he plays golf, he likes to run, and now this man that had pain 6 or 7 years is enjoying himself. So we've completed our topics, and I want to go over each one just briefly. So in summary, so that we never ever have to have the screws put to us, if we practice these topics that I went over, number one, make sure you're well hydrated. That nourishes the disc. That keeps the disc nice and thick, keeps the jelly material in the middle. Got to have a strong core. That might mean just doing 3 or 4 exercises, maybe even just 2, something that you're doing every day to work on the core, because that supports the spine, helps keep it in alignment. The next one is check your arches. You could do that just walking out on your deck in a hot day and seeing what your footprint looks like. Or you can go to someone's office, a professional's office, and have them check it on a machine like we have at ours. Check your posture. Make sure you're not slouching. Remember, sitting is 100 extra pounds of force on the disc as opposed to standing. So, look into getting a stand-up desks. The next topic we talked about, mattresses. I believe the best mattress out there is the Tempur-Pedic mattress, but there's other good mattresses out there. The main thing is check your mattress, make sure there's not sag in it, make sure if you have springs in it, you flip the mattress every 90 days just to avoid any mattress sag. And finally, get your spine aligned and decompressed. Maybe it's already lined up well, but have it checked. It's worth the money. We're talking about staying away from $100,000 fusion surgery and having your life disrupted. Finally, go out and get a copy of this book. It's worth it. It's $24.95. It's not very much money. You can get it on Amazon. This book is more of a handbook or reference book. You can keep it out on the coffee table. Your friends can look at it when they come over. I'm sure you'll be doing them a service. You can take it to work, let some coworkers see it. You can give it to your children. I'm telling you, it'd be a great gift, because the gift of health is the very best gift that you can give. I'm Dr. Graham, the back pain professor. It's nice talking to you.